Hi there, welcome to Leith School of Food and Wine in London. We're here with the Head of Nutrition for Sky Pro Cycling, Nigel Mitchell, and the Head Chef, Soren Christensen. And Soren's going to show us how to make bread. Now, I would have thought that bread isn't something that the riders use a lot of, but do you make a lot of it?
No, we don't make a lot of bread, but the bread we make is a whole grain, whole flour, organic flour, instead of traditional white bread.
Okay.
We have one or two riders who would like to have white bread, so I also make a little bit, but most of them, they eat the whole grain because it works slower in the body and it's just better for the body.
Soren, show us how you're going to make it.
First of all, we have some yeast, and this is organic fresh yeast. You can use also dry yeast, but the fresh yeast is working a little bit quicker, and it's a little bit, I would say, more acid. Here there is 42 grams. In here you have 700 milliliters of half water and half rice milk.
Half water, half rice milk. Okay.
At the beginning, I just put a little bit down.
Yeah.
And take a fork.
So you mash the yeast into the
just
water.
mash the yeast a tiny bit.
Okay. You can smell the yeast as
Oh,
well,
it's
can't you?
fantastic,
You can
isn't
really
it?
smell that it's an active ingredient.
Yeah, sure.
And what does the yeast actually do?
It's helping to raise the bread.
Okay.
And of course, if this was only white bread, I would maybe only use 25 grams of yeast, but because the flour is more heavy, more compact, I put a little bit more yeast to help the bread.
So you mix that in with the yeast, okay?
Yeah.
So Soren, you're putting in stone ground strong wholemeal flour. So it's strong flour, isn't it?
Yeah,
not
strong flour.
normal flour.
Strong flour means that it's got more gluten.
Okay. And you're mixing what, half and half? Is it you do?
Half and half for a start.
So that's rye flour.
That's rye flour, yeah. And then just do it very slowly.
Okay. And how much flour have you put in there?
I would say there's about 250 grams in total for beginning. I start putting a little bit in, so it's just mixing slowly together. And after maybe 1 minute, half a minute, I would stop it. And normally I would do it like, the best thing is when you have the dough, you keep half of the dough, or maybe 1/4 of the dough, put it in the fridge for the next day, and then you have a sourdough. And the more old, the better taste there is in the dough.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, and then you don't need to use the same amount of yeast because it's a natural.
Okay, so you can keep a dough in the fridge.
Yeah.
And how long could you keep that in the fridge for?
Some people keep it for years.
I would say, to be honest,
years.
My family, we have a dough for making dark rye bread in Denmark, and I think it's more than 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, you keep it for years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that, and then it just goes more and more sour as you keep it.
More and more sour.
So you put 250 grams in first.
Yeah, and then I would say I put the same amount in one more time.
Okay.
And then
another 250 grams.
Then I take some olive oil and just put 100 milliliter. I didn't put it in at the beginning because I think you can mix it all together, but I like to do it slowly, bit by bit.
And 100 milliliters of oil.
Yeah.
And it's extra virgin olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil.
And do you ever put flavourings in the bread?
You can put nearly all kinds of flavors in. You can put grated carrot, you can put tomato, you can put spices like parsley, whatever. And also in here, it's not because we use the seeds for everything, but there's a lot of the essential good fats in here.
So in there you're putting a mixture of seeds. What's in that mixture of seeds?
So we've got sesame seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and we've got goji berries. So they've been chopped down freshly, and Soren's using them in the bread mix now.
What are you looking for in the dough so that you know that it's the right consistency?
It has to be firm.
Yeah.
Quite sticky, but not sticky like it is now. So we need to give it a little bit more of the flour. And when you put it in the hand, you can say it has to stick a little to the hand, but not too much. The dough is nearly ready. So at the end of the dough, I put a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt in. I just need to give it a little bit of flour.
A little bit more flour?
Yeah.
So that's because you can see it's a bit too wet. Okay, super. So, Soren, once the dough is done in here, what are you going to do with it?
Then I'm going to take it out of the bowl, and I just need to work a little bit with it in the hand to make it stick together.
So this doesn't completely eliminate the need for you to do
No, it doesn't.
some handwork?
We just need to help it a tiny bit at the end.
So this is part of Soren's daily routine. So while the riders and the rest of the staff are still in bed, Soren's up doing the bread.
They have it in the morning and in the evening, but I make the dough in the morning, so it's ready for the evening.
Okay, so you'll bake it separately, but you'll make the dough. You'll make the dough. Okay. And how many loaves would this make? Do you think?
I would say
what sort of loaves?
There would be about 8 small loaves here.
Okay. So this will be your 2 loads of dough, one for the morning, one for the evening.
One for the morning. And then you can see how compact it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's see the consistency.
And you have some of the goji berries you can see who makes the color quite nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You cut it one more time.
Okay, so you made small rolls, you've made slightly bigger rolls, and this is a full loaf, is it?
This is a full loaf.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just leaving those on the side?
Yeah, we leave it in the side here, and then it would rest here for half an hour. So I would call it sleeping, so it'd be a little bit bigger, and then we roast it in the oven. Okay. Small bread, we would bake it for 12-14 minutes.
Yep.
The bigger bread, I would bake for 25-35 minutes, and then I'm not going to serve the bread to the riders when it's still warm, because the yeast is still acting, working. It's very nice to taste homemade, fresh, warm bread. Just put a little bit of butter on, but you can say that the yeast is still working in the stomach, and we don't want it to happen for the riders.
Okay, but it's all right for me.
It's all, for normal persons, it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the yeast's still working, and butter is what I might have it with, but the riders presumably not a lot of those sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, what the riders might have with the bread, they might have some jam and some Philadelphia cheese, maybe some ham as well. Cream cheese, very popular with the riders.
Brilliant. So these are the 2 small rolls.
Yeah. And this is nothing to do with traditional bread, because this is like around 400 grams.
Okay.
So when you're going to have a slice of it, you would need to chew it quite a lot. Okay. And that's the good thing. But also, you need to do a lot of working.
And this is bread, if you remember, we've got some goji berries and we've got some seeds in there as well.
And a mixture of flours?
Yes. So it was the...
But also, you can see that it's not a fluffy. It's a very compact, but it's baked all the way.
So that's just some with Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you.
Here's some with jam. I'm not a big jam fan, so I'm just going to try.
And you need to chew quite a lot.
I can't. I'm doing a programme. Soren, thank you very much. Nigel, thank you as well. Fresh bread from Sky Pro Cycling.